very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this.
Because as far as I can tell, he spent the last 5 years beating the shit out of this woman.
Hayden's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, who has been arrested several times for domestic violence against the actress.
I felt my head snap back and smash into the wall, and a sharp pain shot down into my back.
Brian did not become emotional until EMS declared her officially deceased.
Renowned actress Hayden Panettiere died just 2 days ago on the 16th of August, but police reports have been coming out constantly following the sudden incident. And now, people are getting chills after learning of her last words, which reveal the truth of the situation she was in as a former abused child star under large amounts of pressure within the industry. Hayden was a beloved actress who has a long filmography that started when she was just 11 months old, in part because of her mother, Leslie R. Vogel, who was a former soap opera actress herself. She eventually went on to star in hit films and series like Scream, Bring It On, Ice Princess, Nashville, and I Love You, Beth Cooper. But behind her successful career was a life away from her peers as she struggled with the pressure to perform more and more. She was in over 50 projects in her early childhood and had to leave traditional schooling after middle school. Part of the issue also had to do with her attention-seeking estranged mother, who failed as a soap opera actress and seemed intent on living the high life through her daughter instead.
Now Panettiere's mother is speaking out in a new interview, saying this person in her life that we've been trying to get rid of for quite some time was with her at her death, and that was Brian Hickerson. Mother calls her daughter an amazingly talented person, but adds, I think young people who grow up in the entertainment industry, it is a struggle.
Even after her death, she's been giving exclusive statements left and right, as though she can't wait to capitalize on her daughter's demise after she basically acted as her handler and pimped her out for all of her child career.
Is speaking out for the first time. Telling NBC News exclusively in a phone interview, Hayden sadly lost her way, and I wish it were different. I wish she had stayed true to herself because she had many incredible attributes. Vogel, who used to be Panettiere's manager, said the last time she and her daughter spoke was in October. In May, Panettiere addressing their strained relationship on the Jay Shetty podcast.
I can't even remember a time where she wasn't a momager. You know, where everything didn't revolve around business.
Shetty calling Panettiere brave yesterday, writing, quote, "You should never have had to experience the things you did."
About Hayden's career and her challenges, she said, I think Hayden was an amazingly talented person in so many departments. It is a struggle and it's a very challenging industry, and it's not unusual for them to sadly find the wrong path.
Despite being a big part of the reason Hayden let her boyfriend abuse her for so long, she's done nothing but place the blame on anyone but herself.
It's okay to feel the emotions that you're feeling. It can be a very sad and very traumatizing experience. Who doesn't want a relationship with their mother? I was in such a lonely, desperate place that I was more afraid of being alone than I was with being with somebody who was physically hurting me.
In a statement to ET, she says, quote, "The fact that Brian was with Hayden at the time of her death is unsurprising, but devastating nonetheless." Leslie also claims Brian enabled Hayden, and her family had been trying to get rid of him for quite some time.
It's painful to see young Hayden idolize her mom and try to understand her as someone in her corner, growing up to resent her for seeing her as only a cash cow. She never reached out to her daughter when it mattered, with Hayden admitting she slammed the proverbial door in her face when it came to reconnecting.
You talk about, at such a young age, financially and emotionally supporting the family, and
it just built and built and built up, and so much resentment and anger.
Where's your mother?
She's right there.
Excuse
Mom,
me?
Mom, we're doing an interview. Yeah, thanks. My mother.
E.T. was with Hayden and her momager during her years as a child star.
What defines a good mom to you?
Oh gosh, I think my mom describes a good mom. I think someone who understands, who knows that what you're going through.
I know what the moms have to go through, and I know how much they have on their plates.
They split professionally when she was 19, and they stopped talking completely about a year before her death.
She has very clearly prioritized herself which I should not be shocked by. When people ask me about the relationship, if there's any hope for future, I always say that I always leave that door cracked open. You pray for it and you hope it eventually comes, but she slammed that door pretty hard in my face.
Her mother completely refused to protect her, and Hayden spent a lot of her early career struggling, and many think her death has to do with the fact that she exposed how she had been groomed and exploited as a child actress.
Because I don't find it coincidental at all that Hayden Panettiere lost her life directly after exposing Hollywood, yeah. And it's very unfortunate to see, and it's even sadder that no one even knows the cause.
It's a very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this.
The person behind the incident has been exposed to be Diana Jenkins, though she is currently denying everything.
In this book, she speaks about this woman. She calls her Stella, and this friend pretty much set her up to be a yacht girl. You've heard of yachting before? The yacht girls, they go to France, they're on these yachts, they're paid a lot of money to sleep with powerful men. Well, that's what Hayden fell into because she trusted this woman, Stella. Hayden talks about this story when she was 18 years old, being set up to sleep with this man who was really rich, really famous, very powerful, and 30 years old.
Hayden described the extremely harrowing incident on the Jay Shetty podcast, and the story shows just one incident that she went through that traumatized her and led her down the road of being an addict for much of her adult life.
Led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector and somebody who had my back, and to be walked down, down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise, and it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this, like this was just an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time, and I waited for her to leave, and I mean that lion in me, that fire in me, that my hair stood on end, and I became ferocious. I was like, this is not happening, but I had nowhere to hide. Led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector and somebody who had my back, and to be walked down, down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise, and it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this, like this was just an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time, and I waited for her to leave, and I mean that lion in me, that fire in me, that my hair stood on end, and I became ferocious. I was like, this is not happening, but I had nowhere to hide.
What's interesting too is that it seems like Stella, whoever this woman may be, kind of groomed Hayden. Hayden said in her book, I wasn't scared, but I felt like I'd been kicked in the face. She, this friend, had confided in me. She pampered me, treated me like her best friend, then turned around and treated me like a call girl. I deserved better than that by a lot.
Another reason that largely contributed to Hayden's passing is her abusive on and off boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, who had been a constant in her life since they first started dating in 2018. Many even think that rather than the industry punishing her, he might have been behind her untimely death.
Was it just from pill bottles found nearby, or did someone tell them? Where was Brian? Isn't that one of your questions? Where was Brian when the EMTs showed up? What was his condition? Was he taken to the hospital? Where is he now? What does he have to say? Because as far as I can tell, he spent the last 5 years beating the shit out of this woman. Absolutely no care whatsoever for her well-being. So what role, if any, did he play? It's a fair question. Hayden Panettiere had spent the past 10 years of her life abusing herself. So it is very possible the answer is no role other than sidekick. but there's more to be investigated around this boyfriend.
He has a less than stellar record, even having to go to court after getting into altercations with Hayden.
As we are learning more about what happened inside. According to the Greenville, South Carolina police report, Hayden's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, who has been arrested several times for domestic violence against the actress, and his brother Zach were both at the apartment at the time of the 36-year-old's death, one of them calling 911.
Have a cardiac arrest, overdose, CPR is in progress.
Hickerson showing the arriving officer, quote, a bag of medication that Hayden was taking. The actress has been open about her battle with drugs and the emotional and physical abuse she said she suffered.
The resentment just came out sideways in these behaviors, and me leaning on substances for anxiety and depression, and then postpartum and all of the above.
Hayden's death coming just days after an LA County judge denied Hickerson's attempts to dismiss and or reduce his past felony domestic violence charges involving Hayden.
Hayden herself admitted he repeatedly laid hands on her in her memoir, This Is Me, a reckoning. People have been up in arms suspecting foul play, especially considering she was found dead in his apartment, despite the fact they should not have been together. This was only made worse by the fact that Hayden was an addict that had been struggling for years.
This is from her memoir. It's the memoir is called This Is Me. Came out just a couple of months ago. And she writes of a Valentine's Day 2020 incident in Jackson, Wyoming. Talking about how they'd been at a nearby steakhouse, they'd had dinner and drinks. Midway through our first course, we were talking and laughing about everything from our hopes and dreams to what movie we wanted to watch that night. After dinner, we spilled out to a bar and I told Brian, I hope to hell there was dancing. This is my vacation, I yelled, and on vacation, I dance. God only knows how much we drank at the bar, but when we got back to the house around 2 a.m., we were both piss drunk. I don't remember what either of us said. All I know was that at some point our playful banter turned hateful and our happy couple routine went to hell. There was teasing, harsh words, resentments, defensiveness, and all those things that make a drunken fight the most dangerous kind of fight to have. I know I let Brian have it. That's what I do after I bottle up everything inside. And when I peeled back all those layers of denial and let my drunken self think about and feel everything Brian had done in the time we'd been together, there was only rage underneath.
In her memoir, she described an incident where a fight turned ugly, and Brian almost gave her a concussion while they were both drunk. She openly admitted to being scared of Brian, who had no qualms laying hands on her.
They had met, I think the year earlier. It was a dangerous, uncomfortable, uncontrollable kind of rage. Come at me. Give me all you got. You can't win, I said, taunting Brian while we were in the midst of arguing. I always refused to play the victim, and my toughness revealed the fact that my fight or flight reaction fell firmly in the fight category. I wanted to attack because I was sure Brian was about to attack me. What did you fucking say? Brian snarled as he pushed me up against a wall. What did you say to me? I felt my head snap back and smash into the wall, and a sharp pain shot down into my back. I braced my body to absorb the shock, then I closed my eyes. Clap. Brian slapped me hard, and a familiar sting radiated out from my cheek and across my entire body. Okay, motherfucker, I am out of here, I said, as I broke free and ran upstairs, my head throbbing, my cheek burning.
And it wasn't just one incident either.
The abuse, the fact that I allowed this person not only into my life, but for how long I put up with it.
She chronicled that alleged abuse in her memoir released months ago, including Hickerson being charged with multiple counts of felony abuse.
Brian pleaded no contest, but I knew that with what I was telling the police, he was sure to be found guilty. It ate at me, but I had to do what was right in the eyes of the law. Tell that to my heart, though. Despite all he'd done to me, I still loved Brian for who I believed he was.
And it wasn't just her. Her neighbor also stated that she saw proof of the actress being abused, and she often heard Hayden and Brian arguing. It got so bad and so frequent that the housing complex where Hayden lived put up a notice to keep Hickerson away.
Hayden Panettiere's neighbor is making shocking allegations about the troubled star's relationship with her boyfriend.
She was always such a bright light when she was by herself. When she was with Brian, she was so subdued and seemed almost like a different person.
Mia Terrazas says she called 911 a half a dozen times to report disturbances in Hayden's apartment in West Hollywood.
Was there ever any instances where you thought there could be domestic violence going on?
Oh, absolutely. I saw her leaving on a gurney, Brian was right next to her, and I asked her if she was okay. And it looked to me that she, had suffered some type of trauma that, looked to be battering. And it was clear she was terrified.
Brian Hickerson was jailed for 45 days in 2021 for punching Hayden with his closed fist in the face and was banned from the apartment complex where Hayden lived. This image of Hickerson was posted on the property. Warning to all residents, if he is seen anywhere on this property, please call 911 immediately.
She painted a harrowing picture, considering she had to call 911 multiple times and even saw Hayden being carried away on a gurney after being beaten by Hickerson.
What was your reaction when you heard the news about Hayden's death?
It's really devastating. She's so young and she had so much life left to live.
Today, Greenville cops were seen at the home of Brian Hickerson's grandparents. Cops say it was a welfare check, unrelated to Hayden's death. We're also learning more about Hayden's final hours. Brian Hickerson's brother, a local preacher named Zach Hickerson, arrived at the Airbnb around 1:50 p.m. on Sunday. Published reports say he found his brother asleep in bed, and Hayden was unconscious and unresponsive on an armchair.
A 2022 incident was so turbulent it made the news.
Dig back in.
In 2022, that turbulent dynamic exploded into a dramatic public brawl outside Hollywood Sunset Marquis Hotel.
Brian, jail!
In the TMZ footage, Brian, wearing all white, is seen getting pummeled by another group. Hayden then tries to break things up, but appears to get kicked in the face and tossed to the pavement.
Oh, I'm ready for round 2.
Their toxic on and off again roller coaster went on for years.
The man is actually demonic, laughing while talking about putting hands on her and making fun of her depression. A recent interview revealed him completely relaxed about beating her up multiple times.
Man, I mean, I think it speaks for itself. I mean, I got arrested for, abusing her, and I wouldn't blame her friends for being pissed off at me. So I don't really have much to say on that. We've been together for 8 years. I mean, that's a topic of conversation that came up a lot. So yeah, I had a couple opportunities to apologize for it and reflect on it. So I don't know, you'd have to ask her what she thinks about it. But it's you never lay hands on a woman, bottom line. Well, coming from a former landscaper, which I was, all you gotta do is spray some Roundup right there on it. She wasn't talking about me, she was talking about her terrible mother.
He was quick to offset responsibility as well, saying that the worst relationship in her life was actually her mother, not him.
I had a lot to drink, and I got physical with her, and I got arrested, spent the night in jail, and that's just what happens when you lay hands on women. Yes, I have been working on myself. Shia LaBeouf leads our AA group, The Isolators. The man saved my life. I do have some things to say about Hayden's mom. Hayden's mother is by far one of the worst people I've ever met in my life. And, I just can't with her. She's terrible.
He then proceeded to brush off his abuse, saying that it was something people did all the time.
And I just want people to know, I mean, like, people do this all the time, It's like, you think I'm the only one that did that? No. People do that all the time. You saw Apex, right?
Yep.
Same damn thing, right? So, it's sad.
You had mentioned the chapter about you. Do you think this is an important chapter for not just survivors to read, but also for people that are abusers? Do you think it's important for both sides to be reading something like this?
I think it's more important for abusers. My biggest thing about domestic violence is I don't think it is taught early enough in life. Never in my life did I ever get taught what domestic violence was, right? Maybe if I did at an early age, maybe I wouldn't have done what I did. We don't know. But it's one of those things to think about.
Reports describe that his brother Zach was more worried about the fact that she might be dying compared to Brian, who didn't freak out until he realized she was actually gone.
Friend Brian Hickerson and his brother Zach were also there at this South Carolina apartment complex when Panettiere suffered a cardiac arrest, and they say the brothers called 911.
Have a cardiac arrest. CPR is in progress.
Police say EMS attempted to perform life-saving methods for an extended amount of time before they called the time of death. They say the boyfriend's brother Zach was very emotional while EMS were working on Hayden. Brian did not become emotional until EMS declared her officially deceased. And afterward, they say Brian showed officers the bag of medication Hayden is currently on.
Despite her addiction and mental health problems, Hayden was a breath of fresh air for many people, and even extras who had worked with her remembered her in nice words.
I would want them to know that Hayden was a beautiful soul. She seemed to care about people genuinely. She was very kind. She was very quirky. And she was well loved, and she dealt with her struggles in public, and I believe she had a plan. And until the very end, she was working on those, as evidenced by the book she put out.
What do you think? Was Hayden punished for revealing too much about the industry, or is her boyfriend trying to cover up her death? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and like and subscribe.